So, buddy, Oblivion.
Are we recording right now?
Oblivion. It's recording. How many times have you seen Oblivion? What does this mark for you?
12 or 13.
That many?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a perfect, you know me, I'll play a video game and have a movie in the background, and sometimes you want to have a good vibe in the background. And for me, it's a vibe movie. I'm just like, I'm using that term like some TikTok influencer. You can shoot me after this if you want. If I say let's go ever, come to my house and murder me. Please. I
have a feeling it's going to slip out at some point for one of us, and it's going to be a bad thing because it irks me too. But it's just such a thing now, and it's everywhere.
It's
what is that?
It's cringe. Or like, that's a vibe. That's such a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
I get good feelings when I watch it. So yeah, I've watched it in the background a lot of times. I've watched Edge of Tomorrow 10, 11, 12, 13 times. Okay,
Edge of Tomorrow over Oblivion? Or
I'd say they're about equal. I guess it's revealing where I'm going to go with this. Do we do Edge of Tomorrow?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, they're both Tom Cruise. They're both, sci-fi and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you saw this for the first time in theaters, Oblivion.
Yeah, that's back when I was, I think, in Austin. I was going to the theater 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah. Alamo Drafthouse?
Yeah. No, it was... No, fuck that place.
Why fuck that place?
Because they're Wonder Woman shit.
What Wonder Woman shit?
I'm pretty sure Draft House is the one that said, like, no men could come, and they're getting sued now for Wonder Woman premiere. They had, like, a no men screening of it or something.
Did they really?
Yeah, and they're getting sued because, that's discrimination.
Where was this?
In Austin, where it fucking originated.
It was just in Austin, or at every Alamo Draft House?
This is where I hate getting details wrong. I know for a fact, Alamo Draft House, I'm almost certain it was one. I know there is a theater for sure in Austin that did women-only something, screening or premiere or something. And I'm fairly positive it's Alamo Draft House.
No boys allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Well,
yeah.
we'll fact check that after this because I'm curious to read the deal.
But no, it was it was really nice. You went there with me. The really nice, super nice seating and all that stuff. Yeah.
Remember we went to that theater and we bought tickets to Hell or High Water and we were sitting in the movie theater. And you're like, I don't want to stay. Before the previews even came on and we left. Do you remember that when I visited you in Austin?
This is a real story?
Yeah, I think you were on Adderall at the time and you just couldn't sit still. We were in the theater. I had just come into town. It was just me. It wasn't Brandon. Do you remember that?
No, this seems like a made-up story. When did you ever see me just you?
In Austin, I came to visit you. Just me.
When?
Ah, man. I don't know, dude. I mean, I was in New York, obviously.
This seems so made up. What else did we do? Name something else we did.
I don't remember. But Hell or High Water was in theaters. And, yeah.
That doesn't seem right because Hell or High Water, this is my memory of Hell or... You loved it so much.
Yeah.
Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah.
I watched it by myself at home and I finished it and I didn't like it. And I told you about it later, how I didn't like it. That's my memory of it.
Yeah. Unless I had a really vivid dream. That's
this
all I
is
can
really,
say.
Yeah. You came
Swear to
just
God.
you
okay.
to Austin.
This may ring a bell. We were having some serious issues with it at the house and it was kind of on my mind. And I was talking to you about it in the theater. But while we were waiting for the theater to get cleaned, what else did we do? We went to John the Juice.
That wasn't there. Oh, I do know that's why.
San Francisco.
Because that wasn't that. No, that wasn't.
It was
there.
Mountain View.
It was a Mountain View.
Okay, sorry.
That's where it was.
Mountain View. You're right.
No, and it wasn't the Adderall. Something else. You know what's weird? I do remember that. Like I think it was you, because I'm like having the feeling of it. I'm feeling kind of like stressed. It was a story about, and I felt bad for your situation.
Okay.
It wasn't that. It wasn't some pills. It was because I felt like so. You were going through some shit with it. Was fucked, and I was like, you were fucked up about it.
I was stressed.
Yeah, and then I was like,
yeah.
And I think I suggested we leave, or I thought we did finish it. I thought, and I don't know, it wasn't Hell or High Water.
It didn't even start. You sure it wasn't Hell or High Water?
Maybe, but to be clear, just for my own because Adderall did stuff, but it wasn't like I was like, no. I remember vividly being like, I'm like, this guy's going through some. This is like why are we here? Like this seems like some serious shit he's dealing with. I was like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, sorry I projected.
Yeah, because
sorry
as you're saying it,
I remember being Adderall.
We were standing outside. We were talking about it, and I was looking at the posters that and I remember looking at that, and I think we did it. I was like, let's get at let's leave here. And you were telling me all this stuff. I was like, dude,
yeah. I don't even remember specifically what was going on, but. Yeah, that's weird. It's funny how we remember things in details, and if you had just asked me what the detail, I would say, yeah, I'm pretty sure Daniel was like on it, but it was me. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm not like gaslighting. I do. Yeah, I remember that vividly. Yeah. I don't know why it got me so stressed. Just stressed out. Your friend you care about, and it was stressful.
Yeah.
So back a million times before. Yeah, I watched this in Austin. Let's go back and probably cut it back into this. When I lived in Austin, there was a movie theater. That's where I saw Oblivion.
Okay.
Comfy as. I used to love that theater. It was I went so much. I got this thing in the mail. They're like, hey, you come like 4 times a week. Do you want to sit on our board for like making decisions and how to run the theater?
You should. That'd be fun.
I did. I showed up and I was like the most energetic. Like
free movie posters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a question for you as far as this is concerned. The first time you saw this movie, were there any things that you felt went over your head? It was hard to keep up with. You wanted to see it a second time to pick up new things.
I'm an extremely high IQ person. I don't miss anything. So
well, I know this, but okay.
No, they say I was watching the interview. You heard me listening behind the scenes, and I think it was Cruz or someone saying it's so rewarding because it not demands, it warrants a second watching.
Yeah,
and it's so much more satisfying for the second watching.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I want to preface here is I'm going to give my feedback on this movie, but I realize that this is a movie. This is one of those rare movies I know I'm going to enjoy it more the second time.
Yeah, it was funny. I think it was Olga in the interview. She's like, it's so rewarding seeing it a second time. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I didn't miss some main stuff, but there's little things. Even this time I always pick up tiny things. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, again, I was in immersive in my perfect movie theater looking at a huge screen. I was so engaged. It was hard to get thrilled.
So not to get too far off track, do you know, I didn't look this up, do you know if this movie was inspired at all by Moon? Because the premises have some unusual similarities.
No, obviously the Tet and those drones were inspired by Space Odyssey 2001, the little red. Sure. Yeah. What are you doing, Dave? Not from what I've seen. I've done a decent amount of research. This movie started by a treatment. So Kosinski was a digital architect, I think. So he did like 3D modeling and whatnot. That was his background. That was his career.
And Kosinski's the director.
Yeah, and before this he had Tron Legacy, which was his first movie. This is his second movie.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Cruz talked about that in an interview. He's like, it's unbelievable. And the guy did a treatment, and they said graphic novel. What he did is he had digital screens of the bike. Exactly. That vehicle they made, the hovercraft or whatever.
Yeah.
He had 3D images that he made of it and how it would work. They brought in some of the top car engineers in the world, and they made it.
Hold up, like the kind of helicopter or drone hybrid.
He wanted to have a fighter jet mixed with a helicopter.
Wow.
So what he did is he went around shilling and I guess not shilling. He went around, peddling in Hollywood his treatment. He had like screens and storyboards. He had like a treatment, as they call it, of Oblivion. Like 7 or 8 years before they came out.
Oh, really?
A long time.
Do you know who picked up the option, or was it
Disney?
Oh, Disney had the rights.
Yeah, I think actually I think I'm wrong on that.
But this is Universal, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be wrong if Universal then, obviously.
Huh. Well, I guess if he did the movie Tron for Disney.
That's why I'm saying, I thought it was Disney. I just read it like right before this. Oh. The bigger point I'm trying to make is, what do you say, the inspiration. It was an original story. He had a cool I just think it's cool. I haven't heard that before. The guy he didn't have a screenplay, but he had a story.
Yeah.
And I guess Cruz found out about it because of he heard about it through some pictures, and then I guess Cruz called him on the phone. He's like, "What is this?" He's like, "Let me tell you the story." He's like, "Let me tell you. Like, I'll send you some screenshots." He's like, "This is," and he's like, he told him it, and Cruz was like, "Okay." He's like, "You've world built like he's like, "I'm on." He's like, "I'm on because of you."
God, that would be a dream come true for a director to have Tom Cruise make that phone call and want to be a part of it.
They talked for hours. Apparently, he was just like, "This is what happened. This is the character development." He had like the pictures. He's like, these are the pictures of like how the ship will look and how the outside will look and how all that stuff. Yeah. And Cruz made a cool, interesting. I was watching an interesting observation. He's like, I can't believe this is this guy's second movie. He's like, it's insane. It's the second movie. He's like, but he's almost too new to know he's so ambitious. Yeah. So,
wow. How old is Kosinski?
He was early 40s when Oblivion came out, and when Tron Legacy came out, he was late 30s.
Okay.
It's hard I can't find Wikipedia. It's gone now, but he was, again, a digital architect. I don't know. He probably worked for real estate companies or for developers or for maybe video game. I don't know what. But he did digital architecture in the 3D world. So he had the ability to actually do it, the 3D animation and whatnot.
Yeah.
Until his 30s.
So I think one of the biggest things that I took away from this is, it's obviously a story about relationships. And you know how I love and space. How we bring those together.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise, his character is essentially a patriot in this.
Yeah, they keep saying, and I watched it again in an interview, he's like the blue collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue collar, salt of the earth guy.
Yes.
Of planet Earth.
And who is questioning what's going on around him. And obviously that relates to present day.
I had to make the connection, actually.
Because his partner, Vika, is that her name? She wants to do the routine.
She wants to wear the process.
She wants to get there and just accept what's going to happen. and that relation to present day, I personally found pretty interesting. And obviously you have your viewpoints, which we're not going to get into that. I mean, unless you want to, but it is interesting, thinking that he served, he was a veteran, right?
The astronaut, yeah, that's military technically.
Okay. Yeah. And he's questioning what's going on, and he exposes truth that wouldn't have been known otherwise, because they were clones who were being bred to do these jobs over and over and over again, and there was no way to break out of that cycle unless he did, kind of break it and question. But interesting theme there, I thought.
I hadn't made the connection. I think when this came out, it wouldn't have been as pertinent till now. So
Sure.
It's interesting. I like what you're saying, how you're drawing it now. And that's why I say I'm not even trying to be too tongue-in-cheek. Like, yeah, Vika was a mask wearer. And you're like, what? These two clearly have different values and viewpoints. Why are they...
Yeah, it's almost like our job is not to remember.
Yeah.
And I'll take a digestible lie over a hard truth.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of this movie.
Yeah, and it's great. He starts saying to Vic, remember, he's like, I can show you. She's like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Even if she's like, we're going to Titan in 2 weeks. Stop. Just stop. It's funny. I hadn't made that connection at all.
Don't mess with the plan.
When it came out, I doubt it had that realization it was even doing that,
Sure.
But now it does apply while watching it.
It does. Yeah, there are definitely similarities. Yeah. One question I had for you that I couldn't make the connection, or I can't yet. So they're fighting these aliens. Spoiler alert. What are they called again?
The Tet.
The Tet are the aliens, or what are the beings that are on the... What are they called? The
Scabs. Well,
Scabs.
There are no scabs.
There are no scabs.
Those are humans.
Right, but they think they're aliens.
Yeah, they think they call them scabs.
But they... Okay, well... Now, that was a revealing that they actually are humans when Tom Cruise is tied up. It's because he's a clone that he doesn't understand that they are humans, and they just... Okay. All right, yeah, just a little confused on a few points there.
The Tet came in, the astronaut Jack Harper and Vika, who was not his girl, but wanted to be his girl. That's why she plays it so well. She wanted to be it, and then in another life she got to be.
Okay.
They go approach the Tet along with Olga in the freaking thing.
Right.
Wow, he's seeing it in real time. Wish you could see his face.
Yeah.
It's like
the dots are being connected now for me.
Right, and then they scoop them up, recreate them, use them against everyone else, destroy the Earth, nuke it.
Right.
And the people that remained, that's where he was saying, if you listen to Morgan Freeman, he just went in the military when he was like 18.
Yeah.
He said 60, so he has 78 apparently.
Yeah.
He's like, I just got in, but he was like, we were far enough from the waves and stuff to survive. And they went underground and survived all those 60 years. And of course, they're all dirty and wearing gray, because every fucking futuristic movie has to have people in the future wearing gray, unshowered. Why?
The
main characters never are dirty, but all the other people are like fucking, I don't know, like a Tale of Two Cities or something.
Well, you got to think they don't have a lot of showers.
Why would they not? They don't have the water access? Like the water's gone because they're scooping it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I also like the fact that they didn't really expose or explore what the aliens actually were.
Yeah, there's no background.
There's nothing.
Well, it wasn't even aliens. If you think about it, it was the Tet, which was like this being.
Yes.
It would be more like Borg. I would look as like from Star Trek, if you know what Borg is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just this one creature, you know, that's all powerful.
Yeah, that was cool. Do you know if it's Morgan Freeman's and Tom Cruise the first time they worked together?
I think so.
It's pretty crazy. Morgan Freeman had a really small role in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a cool, they did a great job when he lights his cigar and he opens for his reveal.
For sure.
A lot of good shots.
Beautiful movie to watch, man. And if you haven't seen the trailer for Gears of War, right? The very first Gears of War.
Mad World, yeah.
It's one of the most incredible trailers probably ever made.
That was his start. Kosinski's first start was that. That was probably the only thing he did that was actually relevant. And then somehow he got Tron Legacy to be the director of it.
Unbelievable. Now, do you know how he got hired to do the Gears of War trailer?
No. I've looked in his background because I think it's finally really interesting. But again, you got to think, like, this guy does show up. Imagine you're a Hollywood agency and you're getting a director and they're all passionate. They went to film school and you're like, cool. Yeah, that's nice. But they're the jack of all trades. What's your mastery? Imagine this guy showing up being like, I can work with your digital animators and I could be better than them.
Yeah.
So you want me to run Tron Legacy? I could do it myself. I can do the 3D work me. That's a big selling point. And I'm sure it's how he said. He was like, I carry the chops and I'm a director. You know, he has that edge.
Yeah, he's talented. What's he working on next, do you know?
No. I just looked it up. I can't remember the name of it.
Do you have any critiques about the movie? Anything that kind of bothered you about it?
Olga and Cruz, I didn't really believe it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point, because I read just a little bit. Jessica Chastain auditioned Olivia Wilde, Olga, obviously, and I think those were the final three, and Chastain won the part. But she backed out to do, what was it, Zero Dark 30?
Oh, the one that's completely made up. That wasn't a woman that did all that stuff.
Catherine Bigelow. Yeah, what was that movie called?
Of course it was Catherine Bigelow. Zero Dark 30.
Was it Zero Dark 30?
And it wasn't a woman.
No, I don't think it was a Zero Dark 30. Okay.
It probably was.
Or what's the one with Jeremy Renner? The one that won the...
Oh, God, please don't make me do that.
No, hold up. What's it called?
A horrible movie. I could get it here in a second. It'll pop in my head.
Jesus. All right, yeah, Jeremy Renner with
I was gonna say
Hurt Locker.
Hurt Locker.
God, the Hurt Locker. She was in the Hurt Locker, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she dropped
She's
out.
famous for dating James Cameron. That's her claim to fame.
And she did Point Break, incredible movie. Or people say James Cameron directed Point Break, and
she got the credit. Yeah, she's famous for dating James Cameron. That's her.
Hey.
And for all the people that call me Samantha famous, you want a great director? Nancy Meyers, The Holiday. And we talked about it earlier. She's great. I like her.
Yeah.
However, Catherine Bigelow, Hurt Locker is the most overrated. That was the most, her Oscar for that. That movie is garbage. God.
I don't remember disliking it at all. But I do remember there being a lot of hype around it. And it was one of those movies, okay, we're going to go see this because this is probably going to win the Oscar, so I'll check it out.
Again, I talk in circles. People are listening to podcasts, I'm like, this guy is hard to follow. You were talking about Zero Dark 30, which she probably backed out for what you said Jessica Chastain did, which she was in that. And Jessica Chastain, that character, is actually a man in real life that did all this stuff in Zero Dark 30. And so they replaced her with a chick. Imagine being that guy and being like that. I didn't know Catherine Bigelow was a part of it. Did she direct that, or you're just confusing it with Hurt Locker? I'm
confusing it, man. Yeah, I'm going to look it up real fast. I got to know. So Hurt Locker
was Catherine Bigelow, Jeremy Renner. Jessica Chastain was definitely not in it. I'm at a 95% certainty. Almost 100.
The Hurt Locker.
Just like Sean Connery's in Dragonheart. Liam Neeson.
Hey. Okay, so hold up. Jessica Chastain's not in the Hurt Locker. It was Zero Dark 30 then. Double check. Let's see who directed Zero Dark 30, and then we're just going to backtrack on all this shit. I think it was Catherine Bigelow too. Yep. Catherine Bigelow, Jessica Chastain, Joel Edgerton, Chris Pratt, Mark Strong, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I saw the Hurt Locker, though. Yeah, okay, so, well, hey, I thought Jessica Chastain, when I heard that, I thought it would have been a great fit opposite Tom Cruise in this movie, Oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah, you asked critiquing Olga. And that scene where she's like, we would stay up too late and get drunk and fight. And it's like...
Get fat and... argue, and
I was like, how is that romantic? Like,
I like that. I think it is kind of romantic because that's life. It's life. No. That's life. It's the things you take for granted on a day-to-day that you're doing with someone you love. That
fighting and getting drunk with a person you love.
No, it wasn't all that. And
I get what they're aiming at. They're aiming at, like, you sometimes get irritated with people.
Sure.
Like you eat their basketball cards when it gets under my skin. No, but it's just dumb. Like, no, there's a better way. So my critique is that I didn't believe the relationship. And I like Olga, by the way. I like her in Hitman a lot.
Yeah.
She was there. Not a lot to say about her.
Okay. But you prefer the other actress.
Let's get to Vicky. You tell me.
She was fantastic. She nailed it. Yeah. What was your critique? Or no, the point you were making while we were watching this movie is how subtle she would play bitchy. How did you put it?
She's a subtle cunt. Yeah, she was like, she's that like perfect. It's hard to articulate. She wanted to get with Cruz, but couldn't earn him, right? Because clearly she wasn't with him. You could tell in that scene when they take a picture and he felt uncomfortable. He clearly wanted to be with her. And now in an alternate reality, he does get her.
Yeah.
And now you get to see how they would have ended up, and they're clearly not right for each other because she's a control girl. Yeah. And she wants the alpha guy, but she also wants to be an independent woman. It's a lot of commentary on modern women these days. And so there's this underlying thing of like, well, I'm the one that makes this shot. She kept saying it, like, I'm telling you not to. And he still would do it anyway, which she secretly likes, but she has to show a little resentment. She has to have little like leaks of stuff, right? And she does. And that scene where he's like, I think they're trying to catch me. And she puts her hand to her eye and she's like, well, they can't have you.
Right.
Like that's her getting like that female like anger. Like, this is, you're mine. Yeah, that possession she has over him. It's not love, it's possession with her. And she does an extremely good job. And she's not traditionally in movies like that. I think she's a theater background person. She's British, obviously.
Yeah, I couldn't recognize her from anything, but she was top notch, man. Just really good.
Exceptional.
So I really enjoy Tom Cruise movies because, again, I've said this before, I do believe he's one of the last marquee movie stars And I think that's going to be a thing of the past eventually. But he's always Tom Cruise. He just doesn't really play anything else or any crazy character. I guess the one that I can think of that he really stretched on, he stretched a little bit in Magnolia, but Tropic Thunder. Yeah, of course.
Harvey Weinstein.
And they're making, Harvey Weinstein, really? Is that what it's based on?
I think he was supposed to be Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, that's cool. I read that he is working on a spinoff as that character, whatever the character's name.
Really?
Tropic
That
Thunder.
would be interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's the same director that's working on it with Tom Cruise. So I'm sure it'll be greenlit if those two are attached. But that's something to look for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But Tom Cruise is great at that. He's what... Here's a weird thing. Will Smith is always Will Smith, in my opinion. I think he has a lot of range, but I still don't think he's that great an actor. Tom Cruise is always Tom Cruise, but he does have range in his Tom Cruisiness.
Tom Cruisiness.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think you nailed that one. He has range in his Tom Cruisiness. Do you have a favorite scene? Anything that takes a cake for you in the movie? There were a few that were just...
There's a lot. Dude, at the action scene where it's just so cool how they was clever how they do those flight scenes where the thing spins around and then he turns into himself and there's a digital display so he could see what it would be like. I'm like, these are freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Or the way those drones murder people is just freaking satisfying.
But the whole drone thing is terrifying to me when you think about it and how advanced that stuff will become in 5, 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
And weapons of mass destruction.
Oh yeah, if you look at what they're doing with Boston Dynamics and shit like that, those robots, they're jumping and doing backflips and crap. We're screwed.
How much time do you give it?
Longer than people probably think.
That's a rabbit hole right there.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I don't think we'll get to Terminator where we're fighting the drones. If they get to that stage of saying, okay, let's pull the switch, it'll just be enslavement.
You mentioned Roomba vacuums. You told me the other day. I'm dropping the memory exactly. You said that Roombas measure, you just said it. You said they measure the square footage of the home?
They have the layout of it, and apparently they partner with other people and share the data of your layout of your home.
Okay, that's crazy. But yeah, back to the drone thing. It's fucking scary. And I don't know if you've watched every episode of Black Mirror. I have. And it really touches on a lot of that stuff. And it's out there. It's real.
But still, the way it vaporizes people, it's so.
Jesus.
I love when that scene where the second gun goes back and vaporizes that dude.
Yeah, that was insane.
Sweet.
And when it's coming through the curtain,
I tell you, dude, just burning it.
That's a hell of a shot. Hell of a shot.
The menacing nature of it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. One little critique: when they were escaping the drones and they backed up into the waterfall, and then they followed the drones. The drone would be able to see behind it. It would be able to
signature
detect,
or something,
of course. Yeah. But it's for the sake of the scene. Well, yeah, I appreciate the suggestion. It was a good one.
Why are you saying that and says such sarcasm?
No, I seriously do, because I'm super interested to watch it again and pick up on new things. I'm kind of hesitant to score it because I feel like there's so much that I missed.
The guy he's fighting with himself, right? 52.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is the guy at the end.
And 49, of course, it was the 50-second clone. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's the guy at the end. Yeah. Yes, I did pick that up.
The weird thing, though, is if you remember the 50-second clone, as soon as he sees Olga, is immediately captured by her, her essence, her beauty.
Yeah.
The question we all have, what about all the other Tom Cruises? If they ever see Olga, they're all going to be like, oh, she's mine. Probably. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, it will be weird. Oh, that brings up an interesting question. If you saw a clone of yourself, would you have a problem with that clone being with your wife?
I'd have trouble if I saw a clone of myself and having sex with it.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I'd be in pure admiration.
Of course. It's just that narcissism just really comes
I think
out.
the real question is, would you have the devil's threesome with your wife? Of course you would. You would do the Eiffel Tower with yourself.
Is that a menage a trois?
It's 2 guys and 1 girl.
2 guys and 1 girl.
The devil's threesome.
Devil's threesome.
Yeah.
With yourself.
And then the Eiffel Tower.
And you can look yourself in the eye.
Yeah.
Be enjoyable that way.
Yeah. Dude, we did it.
Kind of like you're looking at me right now. Yeah.
She should only be so lucky.
Trying to imagine that.
Twice the Daniel. My God.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of Daniel.
Thank her lucky stars.
Yeah. No, I love the implication how again, back to the love, cheesy shit, but it's part of your soul and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's embedded.
Yes, it's embedded in you and in who you are. It's not traceable via DNA or anything. It's just a part of your spirit and your soul. I like that.
I love love stories. I like romantic comedy. I like a lot of romantic.
This is a love story.
I just don't like garbage love stories like Interstellar.
Well, hey, so I'm going to go ahead and choose the movie for next week that we're going to be watching. Nah, I'm playing. Let's give this some numbers. You want to go first?
Well, he said, you're my favorite part, of course. That's what I want to go back to.
Yeah.
And how can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temple of his gods? Woo!
Man.
What a line.
Nice. Yeah.
I love that line.
Do you think he should have said, fuck you, Sally?
Of course, it was great. It offset the moment on purpose. He could have said something iconic, but instead he's just fuck you. Like, you're not my god.
I like it.
Yeah, it was blue collar dude. Like,
absolutely.
Here's a little quote for you, but in the end, just fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too.
For me, what does a movie need? This was an action movie, it's an adventure movie, a little bit of love, so it had everything, right? What I judge a movie by is thematic elements, which had a lot of thematic elements, analog versus digital, humans, souls, whatever else. And then like they had a deeper meaning and really good dialogue.
It did have good dialogue.
Yeah, I'm a solid 8. Yeah, I would call it a great movie. Mm-hmm. It's funny because this usually I am halfway paying. Like I was like, man, this really is like the music, the presentation, the cinematography.
Oh God, yes. Okay, so you gotta mention the music and the importance of music in a movie, because M83 I downloaded that song immediately after this movie. I think I listened to it 4 times riding around in the car because it's that wonderful, and they're just an incredible band. Back to the Gray Man last week. I don't understand how you can put so much money and effort into a film and have such a garbage score, the soundtrack,
like sub USA.
The music is
network.
Everything. Yeah. It's everything. Ties it all together, and it did with this. M83 is amazing. Okay, so you said 8. All right, I'm 7.7. I think on a second or third viewing, that score will be bumped up a little bit. But
you know what's funny?
Yeah,
I was gonna give it a 7.7, and then after watching it and really paying it, I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like, I like this a lot more. And then I gave it an 8.
Nice.
7.7 was in my head. And then after we watched, I'm like, dude, like, no, like, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, for me to get past the 8.5, I mean, you might not even go as high as 8.5. To get past 8.5, you have to do something really where you're like, this is like iconic. Like, this is just top tier.
Well, I think one of the most wonderful things you can achieve as a director and just putting a movie together is having rewatchability. And on a rewatchability scale, this is 8, 9, 10 for sure. It's way up there.
And it's effortless, I'm telling you. You'll rewatch this and it's just comfortable and it's effortless. You're like, cool.
And they're not going to do a sequel or anything, right? Or a spinoff?
No. Actually, I think that here's what frustrates me is I don't think it is. It was $120 million budget. It made $283. You know, with marketing, it was probably $200, $220. It made a profit, I'm sure.
Right.
But like not Tron Legacy or, hey, Top Gun.
Yeah.
He made up for that, didn't he?
He did.
$1.43 billion.
Man, well, he's going to get the green light to do whatever he wants. Maybe he'll want to revisit this at some point. Maybe Tom Cruise will too. So who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week, you ready for this? You ready? So we get into a TV show, Raised by Wolves. So we can do that. That's 2 seasons. Controversial show, potentially. We just do each episode, 1 episode a week. So that's going to be a commitment. All right. Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
So no more movies. TV show
in the background. What is that?
It's your fucking jaw. What are you doing? It's like you're getting ready to deep throat the microphone. It's bizarre.
Grotesque. That's what grotesque means.
Okay, so Raised by Wolves. The first 2 episodes directed by Ridley Scott. It's on HBO. I guess it was canceled after 2 seasons. We've heard good things, and we're going to dive in and start talking about that.
Created by Aaron Gulaski or something.
My favorite creator.
Who wrote?
I don't know.
Prisoners.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. Raised by Wolves next week. We'll see you there. We'll probably watch an episode tonight. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Just keep doing what you're doing with the jaw. That's good. Jesus. It's disturbing.